As part of Jagex's ongoing investigation into how monetization is implemented within RuneScape, they have released another experiment. A mega drop of cosmetics which can be directly purchased from the marketplace, i.e. the store. It's important to note you can either buy these cosmetics with IRL money or in-game earned GP. And I'll get into the details of that later in today's video. But let's get into the context of cosmetics in RuneScape and how they've been obtained in the past until now. Oh, it's also important to note this experiment is going to last for 30 days, it seems, from looking at the marketplace. Most cosmetics have been obtainable from the treasure hunter or various in-game battle passes such as the hero or yak track. Here, they are experimenting with a transparent approach, which is a complete no-brainer in my opinion for a better player experience. And it'll still feed their bottom line of making money for shareholders. I personally don't want to see any battle passes or tracks of any kind in RuneScape 3, or those especially which force or encourage me to change how I play RuneScape. It is a fine balance, and I don't want to see RuneScape become a theme-parked MMORPG ultimately. I have other MMORPGs I can play for that. There's a high chance they'll make even more money from this update that I'll take you through now, because players like me who would never engage in the treasure hunter or actively engage in battle passes would now likely engage in this transparent approach to obtaining those cosmetics. And I'm pretty happy with the approach on offer here as a whole, in terms of just the general approach to, making cosmetics obtainable, i.e. just having a look at the price, buying them outright. Before getting deep into the video, it's really important to know that you can also convert bonds to rune coins. You can purchase bonds with IRL money, but you can also purchase bonds with in-game GP, just to reiterate that. So you can buy a bond for 140 million GP coins or more. They're likely to go up in this short period of time due to this cosmetic event. And you can convert that bond, you can redeem it into 195 rune coins, which is enough to purchase a full mid-tier cosmetic outfit according to their blog post from last week, and or a couple of ability overrides. Now this video is going to take you through the different types of cosmetics that exist in RuneScape 3, so if you're a non-RS player, this is also a useful video to check out and just watch through, because I'm going to take you through the different layers of cosmetics in RuneScape, those that you can earn in-game, those that you can earn through the marketplaces or storefronts, and then I'm going to go through this approach in depth and go through the interface and have a look at the ability overrides, the different outfits, so all of that stuff. I'm going to have a look at the pricing, and I may even purchase a few because I have some rune coins. So I'll show you what they look like, and we'll go through various different cosmetics in today's video. And I'll also add my own insight and my own personal opinion to some of this approach, and I am a 20+ year veteran RuneScape player. So cosmetics in RuneScape is a debate in its own right, but it's definitely an area I've got used to over the years. It's been in the game for over 12 years, primarily starting with the release of Solomon's Store in 2013. But in-game overrides, or transmog as it's referred to in other games, was released in 2012, so prior to any kind of cosmetic override purchases. And these were released in 2012 in the form of keepsake keys, which are very popular and well known amongst the current RuneScape 3 player base. So this is where players can put an in-game physical item that they've bought with in-game GP or earned from a drop into a keepsake key. This will then appear in the wardrobe and can be used as an override for the corresponding gear slot. Now, Jagex can also make money through this, but maybe not as much, but they can definitely make money through this, because in order to get keepsake keys, you need to purchase them with rune coins, which, as I've just gone through, you can purchase rune coins either through in-game GP by buying a bond, or you can just buy a bond with IRL money, which is roughly around £6 at the moment in terms of British pounds. Now, as a whole, I've been a pretty big fan of this system. I mean, I play World of Warcraft. It's got transmogrification as a huge part of the end game on WoW. It's a really fun experience to really express yourself in that way, maybe express yourself and show off some of those hard-earned rewards in game. I'm a big fan of that. It's something which I have preferred as an override system in the game over the years, and have engaged in that primarily, bar the exception of some of the OG cosmetics that I have bought from Solomon's Store, which I like to use as overrides, such as the old Torva armor. But coming back to keepsake keys, one of the most popular override to use are cape overrides. So when you achieve your 99 for the first time, or when you achieve your first 120s or any 120 cape, maybe you achieve max cape, completionist cape variants. Sometimes I might not want to override it, but I am working towards getting the completionist cape, and you know what? I'm absolutely whacking that straight into a keepsake key, and I'm going to be wearing that all the flipping time. So just to round that up, keepsake keys are an integral layer to how cosmetics work in the game. It's just one of a few layers, but it's a layer that is effectively driven through in-game earned rewards. And then Jagex can make some money out of it because you have to buy the keepsake keys to then put your item into it. And there is a big debate when it comes to other layers of cosmetics in an MMORPG. So you've got these in-game earned rewards, right? And as soon as you can start purchasing cosmetics, it starts to bring up this whole debate about how much effort goes into purchasable overrides, the design of purchasable overrides versus the design of rewards earned in-game. And honestly, I don't know about you, but the majority of cosmetics I've seen over the years, luckily, do look pretty awful and don't really give me much of a RuneScape vibe. Yeah, some people will go for those and then bring them into the game and you see them everywhere and it just becomes an inconsistent mess of an art style in-game, which definitely, in my opinion, puts a lot of new players off playing the game if you get a lot of inconsistency with the art style. So, for the most part, I haven't really been inclined to purchase them, bar the exception, like I said, of maybe the OG Torva overrides. Overall, I don't think cosmetics or keepsakes are going anywhere, with this being a modern MMORPG, and it is a way to express yourself either through earned rewards in-game, such as those, completionist capes, max capes, skilling capes, or various other things like auras that you can earn through in-game earned achievements, etc., or purchasable cosmetics. A lot of people choose to hide their tops as well and bottoms for various activities and just have their base clothes on, which can be changed in the wardrobe. That is a preference for some as well. So, it would remove that choice if that was, taken away and stripped away from the game completely. Ultimately, there probably should just be a toggle on and off option, maybe, to allow you to see or not see people, maybe. We'll see how they're going to handle cosmetics. Obviously, they're experimenting with cosmetic-only worlds right now, just to see what people are actually missing. I have a video on that on my channel, cosmetic-only worlds. Another layer to cosmetics in RuneScape 3 are ability overrides. They've become a popular thing in the game over recent years. I've definitely missed the entire boat on that one. Every time I came back to the game, I was seeing like flaming tsunamis and I was like, what the heck is going on? What's that thing? How did you get that? And some of these things have been earned again, like I said, through discontinued passes, being unable to get them, and now you're going to be able to get them again, which obviously is controversial in its own right, but ultimately, I'm not a person to complain about a change that's actually going to improve the game, even if I'd purchased it in a different way in the past. If it's going to change the game and increase and improve the health of the game overall, then I really don't mind, and it's a change that I'll openly accept. With ability overrides, I'm going to have a look now as well, and in this video I may be showing some right now, and I'll get some which I think look cool, and I'll get them so I can show you what they look like on this video. But is this a good idea overall? I'll let you guys decide. For newer players, isn't it confusing to see these different colored spells going off, popping off everywhere? They might think, oh, that's a fire tsunami spell that I can use versus a water one. Oh, wow, does that ice omnipower do more damage against fire creatures? I think there is an aspect to this which worries me, where it can be very, very confusing to a new player and almost take away the identity from that spell that was first curated by a dev, and by an art team. I think dyes in RuneScape, by the way, I've not touched on this in this video. Dyes are an in-game earned reward, I believe, mostly from clue scrolls. Some of them have been available through the treasure hunter. I was literally traded one, and I didn't even realize it was from the treasure hunter until I applied it, and I got completely memed. Now I have a meme fractured staff of Armadillo with the Aurora dye. But, dyes is another layer to cosmetics in this game. And for the most part, it's a really neat way of applying those to in-game gear or weapons. And the art teams in RuneScape do spend quite a lot of time, I believe, or they put effort into making those work, with weapons and gear in the game. They make sure they look cool and they apply well. So coming back to confusion with ability overrides, it's quite misleading when it comes to abilities, and I'm not sure that's a good thing overall for the health of the game. But, it's almost too late now, right, guys? The decision's already been made to include them. They're in the game, Maybe, again, it could be a toggle on and off. I think this particular one probably should be a toggle on or off option. It just gets a bit overwhelming when I'm seeing my whole team use a combination of fire tsunamis and water tsunamis. For some people, that may look cool. and part of me thinks it kind of does. But then from a new player experience, I'm not sure it's that healthy for the game to help them understand what is going on in the game. Having a toggle option would at least allow me to toggle that off maybe when I'm making a new guide video or a new boss content comes out and I want to make it easier to watch for viewability. But let's take a look at those on offer anyway. For some reason, I had like 900 odd rune coins stacked up anyway to spend. We'll make some purchases. Maybe I've put those in the video already or over the top of this commentary. And yeah, we'll purchase some that I think are worth it to me or ones that I may think look cool or just would be good to show on today's video. This is obviously subjective taste and preferences, but a lot of the purpose of me engaging with this today is for the video. Okay, so I went with some conjured spirits. These made a lot of sense to me as a cosmetic override as they're just amplifying or giving like an alternate version with the same aesthetic appeal of the original conjured spirits. If you didn't know, necromancy is a brand new combat style that was released in the game recently, I don't know, within a year or two ago. It was a massive update because it was the first combat style we've had, well, ever. So it was pretty massive. And with this combat style allowed you to summon or conjure spirits that fight alongside you. They actually do a decent portion of your damage. Some of them are really, really cool, like the Ghost can actually heal you based on the hits. I've also purchased the Berserk ability override. This one made a lot of sense too. It's staying quite true to going into a full-on Berserk mode with the color red. I think Jagex are at risk, once again though, of causing an identity crisis with the game in terms of abilities and combat styles. For example, necromancy to me, when it was released, it's all about purple effects, right? The color purple is associated to necromancy, and now you can get red versions of all of those spells all of a sudden. And necromancy hasn't even been out that long. You can see on the screen, I went with corrupted wild magic. The base wild magic is just firing flames, so this is actually now changing that to corrupted ball effects that move quite slow, which actually looks really cool, and it makes it a lot more obvious when the wild magic spell is being cast, so I like this one. The asphyxiate used to be like a green orb, so keeping the red theme, that's now like a red circular, a red sphere now around your hand as you cast it and asphyxiate an enemy. Concentrated blast I also decided to buy to see what it looked like for you guys, and that's effectively like wild magic but just smaller orbs. This is one that I will likely revert to its original. It just looks a bit too similar to wild magic and it may get confusing for those watching. And I also decided to purchase the warped omnipower, again just staying in theme with the whole fire corrupted mage style. Alongside the Ionian sunset. I have no idea how to say that flipping word. The sunset. The red flaming sunset as if I'm on the planet Mars. I decided to go for that one. It may revert it, unsure. It is a little bit bright, but you know, it is sunshine after all. Maybe I should go for the whole frozen theme and go for the frozen spells for omnipower and maybe the blessed spells for wild magic and concentrated blast, just to keep the theme, you know, closer to the color of blue, which is associated to mage, and then stick with the corrupted kind of warped molten effects with melee to keep the style red, and then maybe go with the fungus looking / green color for ranged, you know, and at least I've got distinct colors for each combat style still when I'm using it for myself to make it feel like I'm using that style, and or for video content for YouTube. And there you go, guys. So those are the cosmetics that I decided to purchase. Didn't get any outfits for reasons that I explained earlier. And that's today's video concluded. Let me know what you guys think to this future, to this possible future of how we will purchase RuneScape cosmetics. Is this healthy for the game? Is it healthier than the previous alternatives? I think it is. Some of it is quite conflicting in terms of causing, you know, an identity crisis in the game, etc., etc. But, you know, overall, this is a much better approach than what they had. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Make sure to subscribe for future content, and I'll see you guys in the next one.